God, a baby wombat!
The moment only lasted a few seconds, but in that moment, everything cracked. This is Sam Jones, wildlife biologist, hunter, influencer, thousands of followers, a woman who built her brand on loving nature. So what drove her to break the law in a foreign country, risking not just an animal's life, but her entire career? Was it ignorance, clout chasing, or something darker? To understand how we got here, we need to go back to where it all started, on Instagram. When you first stumble onto Sam's page, she doesn't look all that different from any other micro-influencer. Blonde, beautiful, adventurous. 92.9 thousand followers, gorgeous outdoor photography, someone living their best life in the wilderness. Her bio reads, outdoor enthusiast and hunter, wildlife biologist, masters of science. A mix of science and grit, a woman of the wild. It sounds legitimate, respectable. But then you keep scrolling, and things take a turn. What actually built her following isn't conservation, it's domination. Dead deer, dead coyotes. Sometimes they're food, sometimes they're trophies, but almost always they're props. She doesn't just love nature, she loves to win against it.
I love food, I love shooting, and I love nature. So I found a hobby where I could shoot at my food in nature.
But it wasn't just dead animals. Even when they were still alive, they were still just props. Standing on horses for photos, painting them to match her outfits, letting fish suffer out of water while she struggles to get the perfect shot. Always performing, always the star of her own little wildlife show. Animals weren't partners in her outdoor adventures. They were accessories. So we have to ask, are these the words of someone who loves wildlife or someone who just wants to own it? When Sam landed in Australia in late 2024, she brought that same energy with her. The same need to dominate, to perform, to turn every moment into content. But Australia has different rules. Wombats aren't just cute, they're a protected keystone species. Their claws can rip through packed dirt. Imagine what they do to human flesh. And in Australia, you don't just pick up wildlife. The Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act makes it illegal to handle native animals without a permit. But when Sam saw this baby wombat by the roadside, she didn't see a protected species. She didn't see an animal that could seriously hurt her. She saw content. It's played off like a joke, but what viewers saw wasn't funny. It was a mother desperately chasing after her stolen baby. To Sam, it was just content, but to everyone else, it was cruelty. The backlash was immediate. Horrified Australians called for her to be deported, and the government listened. Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke confirmed that her visa was under review and could be canceled. But Sam didn't wait to find out. By Friday, she had quietly left the country. Not before Burke delivered one last jab. Even the Prime Minister called it an outrage.
Gentle, lovely creatures, to take a baby wombat from its mother and clearly causing distress from the mother is just an outrage. Take a baby crocodile from its mother and see how you go there.
Back home, Sam was used to controlling the narrative, but when the law wasn't on her side, she had to save face. There's no way to do that while admitting guilt. So instead, she tried to flip the script by blaming her critics. In a now deleted Instagram statement, she wrote, "Am I the villain? Things, dear reader, are not as they seem. Over holding a wombat, thousands threatened my life." But then she went further. She suddenly became an animal rights activist.
I want to begin by taking responsibility for my actions. What I did was an incredible mistake, and there hasn't been a moment I haven't regretted it. However, there's something much bigger at play here, and it would be a disservice to ignore it. If this situation has proven anything, it's proven that Australians care deeply about their wildlife, and that is something I intensely admire. Every year, however, the Australian government issues permits for the killing of thousands and thousands of wombats across Australia, along with millions of kangaroos.
Here's the problem with that defense. This is someone who built her brand hunting animals. And as a wildlife biologist, she should understand that population control, however unpleasant, is sometimes necessary. She's not making a moral stand. She's attacking the exact same logic that she benefits from as a hunter. If Sam really cared about conservation, she wouldn't have needed backlash to bring it up. She wouldn't have described hunting as shooting at my food in nature. This isn't the voice of a wildlife biologist. It's a smokescreen, a last-ditch effort to make her critics look like hypocrites. But it doesn't change the law, it doesn't change the damage, and it doesn't change the fact that protected wildlife isn't supposed to be handled for a punchline. There's a world where Sam Jones isn't a villain, where she's a well-meaning wildlife biologist who made one bad call. But when you spend years building a brand around dominating nature, and then do something perfectly in line with that image, and your first instinct is to deflect blame rather than reflect, it gets harder to give you the benefit of the doubt. The wombat incident wasn't an accident. It was the logical endpoint of treating animals like props. If Sam truly has a deep appreciation for wildlife, it's been drowned out by her need to perform. Every animal became a prop. Every moment became content. Maybe she performed so long she forgot who she was underneath it all. I'm not anti-hunting, but there's something different about Sam's approach that bothered me. It wasn't the dead animals, it was the complete lack of reverence. The way she turned every interaction with wildlife into content. The wombat incident wasn't a mistake, it was inevitable. Because when you see animals as props for long enough, eventually you forget they're not.